Alrighty, I'm on a bit of a roll with these recaps. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm awake, and I'm gonna do the third round. So the third round was Saturday night, and I was 0-2, 0 wins, 0 ties, 2 losses. So I was in terrible shape. My opponent Saturday night, after I barely, was functioning that day, was an older, I think Russian, but possibly Hungarian or Slavic of some type, individual named Vitaly Rovenskiy. He was, I'm gonna say, in his 60s or 70s, probably 70s to be honest. And he would mumble in either Russian or Hungarian when it was his turn, like talking to himself. Now, if only I understood Russian, I would have had a leg up. But literally, and he wasn't loud, but he was like mumble, he was talking to himself anytime it was his turn. When it wasn't his turn, he kind of just like sat there and was chill. Um, but yeah, it was kind of challenging. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of a little extra note. During this game, the board to my left was played by this young Indian kid, and this guy who befriended me from Connecticut, like middle age, a bit older than me, uh, with like a goatee or beard. And the Indian kid kept sniffling like he needed to blow his nose the entire game. It was incredibly distracting. I genuinely couldn't concentrate. Multiple times I said, "Hey, excuse me, could you get a tissue?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." He was very ineffable about it, but he would go get a tissue. He'd blow his nose. Like I had to like tell him to blow his nose, and then it'd be fine, peaceful for like 3 minutes. I did this 4 times. Um, what's funny is that opponent will be my fifth round opponent. And he was like nice enough, but it was like very distracting. I couldn't concentrate. Part of it was I was exhausted. Part of it was this kid was sniffling to my left the entire game. I wanted to actually put a little tidbit because Vitaly is an older man, an old guy really, and I wanted to list. I wanted to do this on one of the videos, and it may as well be this one. The 3 things I don't like about the young kids in chess. All right, here they are. Number one, at least half of them are always sick. So like they're sniffling, they're coughing on the pieces, they're sneezing on the pieces. It's like their hands are gross, and I don't want to get sick. I hope I didn't get sick from this weekend. I feel pretty good, although my lips are very chapped. So that's number one. Like they're always sick, or at least a bunch of them. Number two, I try to analyze with my opponents. In my experience, the young kids almost never analyze with you, whereas the older people almost always do. And I like that. That's one thing I really enjoy about the games, talking about the game with your opponent, like what they were thinking, what they were feeling, what lines they were calculating, what they didn't see, what they did see. It's fun. It's like good to do a recap, and I don't care if I win or lose if I'm doing the recap. Maybe some people do. For the record, 2 opponents didn't. Both the guy who was sniffling in round 5 and then this guy. Because at the end of this game, this guy in very thick like accent was like, "I am tired. I do not want to go over this game. Not that there's anything wrong. I'm just tired. It was a good one. Just have a good night." It was something like that. So I said, "Okay, I understand. Like, no problem." The third reason as well is young kids also tend to be very underrated, and I don't mind that. Like I think I'm underrated because although I'm older than a young kid, of course, I'm new to over the board chess, so I think that there's still room for growth, and I quite haven't, I'm still learning and all that stuff. So it's a little bit different. If you've been playing all your life, you're probably as good as you're going to be for the most part, unless you put a lot of time into it. So young kids are a little underrated. So like the ratings, if you will, or the points to be gained, you're probably shortchanged. And the reason why, the mathematical explanation is ELO ratings tend to be flagging indicators. So they're a good judge of what was, but not what is. Depends how active you are, depends how much you play, all that kind of stuff, the frequency. But generally, if this guy who's like 1563, and he's an old guy, was probably 1563, and I don't know how much he's been playing. I don't think very much. Although it's funny, I know I'm darting around. I typed his name in, searched just recently when I was entering, my into my spreadsheet, and Ben Feingold's wife apparently streams or whatnot, and she has a whole game against this guy on her YouTube. So I saw again that this guy beat her. I don't think she's a strong player, but I don't know. I don't know Ben Feingold's wife at all. But Feingold's a GM. Maybe his wife is decent. I don't know. But that's the context for this guy. He beat her in one of their over the board games. In any event, what I'm trying to say about that is he's 1563, but I don't think he plays that much, so he's probably a little bit weaker than his rating. But, whatever. Maybe he's not, All right. I played d4. Oh, and entering, this was finally my first white. I decided I wasn't going to do anything fancy. I was going to just play chess and hope to win. We get an Indian. I mean, again, I face this all the time. I play d4, c4. He plays e6, which is obviously very common. We're getting the East Indian defense. Of all my games, this is what I've encountered most. Their idea, of course, is they're going to end up hitting me with a d5 at some point. They don't actually necessarily fianchetto in this setup. They generally don't. Whoopsies. Okay. I'm not even drawing those arrows. Anyway, they're looking to basically attack the center that way. Ignore all these arrows. Yeah, thank you. Okay, attack like that. Boom, boom. And I want to kind of stop that. Sometimes it's just that simple. I played knight f3, which is a book. This is just very common. I'm trying to do the anti-Nimzo Indian. I don't want to face the Nimzo. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't really care. He plays d5, so he does the d5 break. This is very typical. We get the QGD set up. QGD declined. He can also take. And I have a lot of moves here, and I'm not going to go into everything I was thinking because I don't think that this is the most interesting part of the game. If it was, then it would be a really boring game. I play knight c3 though, it's the top move. He plays bishop e7, which is fine. It's definitely more passive. This is a fine move though, by the way, but it's funny because when I broke this down with Ryan, we have a saying, this is a 3 knights variation. I've played this a bunch. It's like old man chess. Younger man chess would probably be pinning, like if you move the bishop. It's just like where you put it. And they're both fine moves. There's not a better or worse. It's just stylistically. And I had a whole rant I was going to say about styles, but I'll save that for another video. Anyway, that move is fine. And I decided to match old man chess with old man chess. And I play an old man move, e3. And e3 is not a bad move. It's a book move still. Like it's fine. Again, you lose like 0.1 or 0.2 from the evaluation, but it's book. I'm shutting the door for the time being on my dark square bishop, but I'm just trying to castle. And we're going to just play a positional game, and this is kind of my bread and butter. This is kind of my wheelhouse, so I'm okay with that. He castles, which makes sense. It's what he set up. And when he castles, I decide to play bishop d3. The idea here is you develop the bishop, and then if he trades, you take, that's fine, and you aim to castle. And, we're going to get this rumbling, mumbling game. We're still in book, so, I don't think I need to... I almost feel like I've had this exact same setup through a bunch of moves in other games. So those of you that watch a bunch of videos, this should be familiar. And these are all very solid moves. There's nothing special, nothing good. And again, the most common line is people generally take the pawn once you move the bishop, and it's even. And then I was fine with an even position. He doesn't, though. He plays b6, which is the third best move, and it's fine. It's a book move, but when he answers this, his idea is to develop the bishop here, and my idea is I want to shut the door on that, meaning I want to put his pawn in the way of his bishop. So it means my best move, and I react on this immediately, is always going to be to take. It's going to be pawn takes, and it is the best move. It's what I play, of course, and I just know this. It's like when they do this, signifying they want to move the bishop there, you take. If he puts his knight out there, you trade those knights. Trade those knights, baby. Or the other idea is if he takes the knight, you then push e4. And then if he then trades, you take, and you have the big white center, you're better. And if he doesn't trade, if he moves back, then you can still rumble forward with either the d5 or e5. And you have a lock on the center. You have a strong position, which is why, by the way, most people, so for the record, move 7 will take. Which is why knight takes is a little bit worse. Again, barely. It doesn't matter much. It's funny, knight takes, the computer still says that you should castle rather than doing the e4 lines, but I was going to play e4. I thought that was the very aggressive. It won't be pushed around. That's from Rounders, if anyone's curious. Anyway, he takes with a pawn, which is the best, it's the typical, it's what I expected. I mean, I don't know what to say. This is just, very, very typical. I consider mixing it up, doing something different. I say, let's just play the best move, and I play castles. So far, my opponent, who's an old Russian guy who definitely knows his openings, not a super strong player, but obviously a very decent, very solid player, is just kind of playing in spirit the same moves. Once I do this, he develops the bishop, but I don't think it's that good, to be honest, on b7, so I'm not that worried. Like, I think it's still a very good move on the computer, but I think I've kind of accomplished what I want, which is nursing a very small advantage, getting the pieces out, and kind of going from there. For the record, the move I'm always thinking that he should play is c5, and he was like very passive. He like is afraid to strike out of the center with c5, and he either misses it a bunch or he doesn't think it works a bunch. But it's every time it's my turn, I'm basically calculating what does the position look like when he plays c5, because it's basically a matter of time. It's like the main idea in this Queen QGD, the Three Knights variation. It's his main idea. He doesn't want to put the knight here because then his position's really passive. Actually, he has no way of breaking. That would be a really bad mistake. I don't know, like really bad. The computer's probably not really bad, but from a practical perspective, it's wrong. Nevertheless, I did a tank here because I have a clock story in this game too, but I'll get to it later. Hopefully, I remind myself. I basically am now thinking like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to develop? Computer actually suggests b3, which is interesting. They want me to fianchetto. Again, it's the same thing. Like our bishop's spying the pawns, so I don't really understand that because conceptually I think that's not good. And they also like e1. That was the move I was considering. That's what I wanted to play here. Rook e1 to kind of like long term prepare like e4, e5 kind of ideas. But then I say, let's not be too ridiculous. Let's just play bishop d2. Like let's just get it off the opening square. It's not the right move, so it's interesting. And I was struggling with exactly the follow up in this position. But okay, it's good to know that like that's wrong. And again, what I'm saying is c5. I keep calculating this. He should have played c5. He doesn't, for the record. So I'm not sure. He's just getting the rest of his pieces involved. He plays the knight on b8 to d7. Boom. And like, it's just an even game. Even material. Even nothing to happen. I play rook c8, which to me makes sense. They don't like this move. I thought I wanted to claim the half file right away. Oh, maybe I played the opening worse than my opponent. No, it's an excellent move. Okay, yeah. How can this be the wrong move? You know what I mean? He plays queen. No, I play queen a2. What the fuck? Oh, he plays rook c8, so he just answers it in kind. And actually, when he plays this, I know this is a bit of a mistake. Now, he could play c5 already and break it open, and I start thinking about these ideas. And again, Ryan told me that I always had these same ideas, and they're never that good. But I thought if I trade these bishops, now he said that's a terrible idea because my bishop is just way better than his, and I think that's fair. But given he moved his rook over to c8, if he basically takes, and then again, if my queen's here, I take, I'm winning a pawn. And if he does that, I'm actually escaping. And I thought that I actually have power because I'm defending the pawn. And I thought that was worth, like his piece, my piece is better than his. But if I could pick up a pawn, I thought that was kind of worth it. And, sometimes Baba plays okay. I played the best move according to the computer. The computer likes my idea, actually. Cool. It's very simple. I'm getting my queen off the opening square. I'm sort of kind of dangling playing here. Because he has to take, because obviously otherwise I just win the rook. Well, it's also hanging. So the computer likes my idea. All right, cool. So stick down your crow, Ryan. Anyway, he was telling me that I have a lot of these like mini ideas that are like not that good, but I think she do think it's good here. So chess is situational. Every idea you see thematic patterns, but every game is different. Every game is different. Well, not every game is different. Some games are the same. Anyway, it doesn't matter. When I play here, my opponent plays a5, which is kind of weakening because it fixes the c-pawn as his weakness. Computer says it's excellent because it kind of takes away this idea, I guess. But I thought it kind of made for c5 to be a little bit awkward because then maybe his b6 pawn is really, really weak. But, alright, well, my opponent's playing pretty well so far. Alright, he plays a5. That shuts down the path there. And I start thinking of other things I can do. I was like, maybe I'm supposed to double on this file because then I have pressure. Maybe I'm supposed to drop the bish so I can load up the queen with the potential battery. Maybe I should look for e4, which probably involves me moving my rook to f to e1. Maybe I should land a really nice spot for my knight on b5. All those are ideas. Looks like a lot of them are not suggested. They still, oh my god. I thought this idea was no longer good when he pushes the pawn, but they still like this idea. Look at that. That's exactly what I calculated, and the computer does say that's best path forward for white. Huh. Alright, that's interesting, because that is what I was thinking, and it is the best path, but when he pushed the pawn, I decided not to do that. Instead, I decide that it's a slow game, like let's keep building up. I'm just going to play rook c2. And my idea is pretty clear cut. It's okay, it's an even move that I basically have all the time to play rook f to c1, load up on this pawn, and go to town there. You know, like this kind of idea. He should just play c6. I don't think that's a very human move because it makes this bishop super passive, literally just a pawn, and it's not waking up anytime soon. That's a really hard move to play. Like, it's the computer best move, but I would never play that move. They also like just moving back. Like, again, that's what I mean. His rook kind of belonged more on this file. So yeah, so there's something to be said. He doesn't have like a easy path once I start building, everything up. Why don't you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down? Don't mess me around. Alright, anyway, he plays knight e4, which is still on the candidate moves of the computer for good moves, and it's funny, because I was okay with this. I didn't think I needed to, like, trade. I didn't want to, like, open up his bishop. He trades, he takes, and then I have to, like, move my knight, and it's good for him. Trading is terrible. But I also didn't think his knight was all that powerful. So I, analyzed this for a few minutes. I didn't blitz this, taking my time. Actually, I was lower on time than him, and that will come into play because there's a point that I want to get to. And yeah, so I decided to ignore it, and I just stick with my plan, which is the second best move. Again, the computer still likes this bishop to a6, so Ryan, if you watch this, I don't know because we analyzed this together, so you probably won't watch this, but the reason why I keep having these ideas is every time I analyze games, the computer always says that this is good. Not always, but like generally they suggest moves like this. So I get it in my brain and it seems decent, but whatever. All right, I play the second best move, rook f to c1. My idea is I want to get off this file and I want to load up on his c7 pawn. It's backwards. It's weak. I also thought if I induce c6 then that's a weakness. Apparently it's actually good for him, but in my mind, if I can land here, then I'm attacking that, and boom, that's where his bishop will crumble. The slow burn. Anyway, this is old man chess, and Vitaly sees that he can make a trade that's of even material, so he takes it. He's like, I will take this knight because I do not like so many pieces on the board. Your move. And Ryan suggested b takes, which is not the best move. I was not considering b takes. It's the worst option. Okay, I thought that it was either supposed to be rook takes or bishop takes, but I thought if I go rook takes, he just moves his bishop to a more active square. It's like lodged in, I have to move back. It's a loss of tempo. So I thought bishop takes by process of elimination was accurate and correct, and I was right. So that's nice. So bishop takes. This is move 14. On c3, and now he plays knight f6. And his idea is he just wants to, like, redevelop it to e4, because I can't really take, because it opens up his bishop, and he's just going to continue trading pieces off. And I'm thinking to myself, is that so bad for me? No, it's not. And I think, I could prevent that, but I prefer getting my knight to the square, because I think my knight's stronger than his knight. Because it's harder for him to kick me, or he has to weaken his position, and then maybe I can reroute something like that, which is my idea, by the way. And yeah, so I think my knight's better than his knight. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That's what I think. That's what I think anyway. Computer thinks that, white has a very small advantage, which is kind of what I'm used to in these kind of slow burn positions. Anyway, he doesn't waste much time, and he was been moving his knight. He was like, this is a good chance to continue trading material because it is good to take piece and then you take piece and then I take piece and then we all take pieces together. But that's not what happened. He plays bishop d6 first, which I think is very accurate, and I like that move, and I thought that he would do that for the record. But the reason why I was okay with it is I thought, let's change the structure. Let's play f4. This always locks in his bishop as a bad bishop. My bishop not so hot either. This bishop incredible, if he ever takes, I take with this pawn, the f pawn, and I reopen this file. I can swing my rooks over to attack on this file, and I can bring my pieces over. So I thought that I had really attacking chances with f4. Yeah, and so so basically, he plays bishop to d6. I throw in an in-between move, which is a good move, actually. Ryan made fun of this move, but it is a good move. I thought that I should actually develop bishop to f5 first. Technically, maybe in some lines threatening like to come in here, but mostly checking his rook, getting it off the c square, so that in various lines, if he was to trade and I trade, then with the rook dislodged, I would have discoveries to win the pawn, or I could just simply like move the rook and I threaten to win that. And then again, maybe you induce that. I thought that was bad for his pawn structure, and like that was my deep thinking. So occasionally I have deep thoughts, by Rob, not deep thoughts by Jack Handy. Anyway, so I throw in the check of the rook first, and he moves back, rook a8, which makes sense. This is. I feel like I'm subtly changing the position a little bit. Like it's not. This is fine either way. He now technically could slam the bishop to a6 because it can now attack the queen. But my idea is relocating my pieces to the king side anyway, so I'm fine with that. And now I go for the move of f4. Computer. Let's see, how much do they hate my move? They don't hate it. It's not good though. They don't like it because of c5. Because now I guess I've changed this position in such a way that c5 works. But does it? Really? Really? I'm not so sure about that. My idea is I can wake up my bishop, basically by dropping to e1 and then pinning. And I, of course, if I can trade for his knight, which I would love to, then I'm bringing my queen in, and I have all these like checkmate threats. If he ever takes, I just lock up the position, because again, I can relocate my bishop, and then with the open file, I would then re-swing my rooks over. So that was my idea, and I think it's decent, actually, to be honest. Again, computer does not think it's most accurate, but yeah. My opponent plays the second best move, which I thought was also weakening. He plays, just simply g6. And the reason why it's weakening is I'm already looking to get kind of attack him on with like these knight squares and whatnot. When I move my piece back, if I do, his bishops suck. So I thought I was like really constraining the scope of his pieces, and I thought my pieces were more accurate. I retreat. I make the very obvious move, bishop to d3. It's the best move. And my idea is I've induced this, and I was even thinking I might have some sacrifices. I also was thinking about just f5, that maybe this rips open the position. And again, because these pieces are stranded here on the queen side, I have the easier play swinging over, especially if I trade this pawn for the g-pawn. So that's kind of what's going through my head. It's funny, the computer has this as just zeros, so again, I'm kind of excited about this position, but the computer's not. But again, from a human perspective, I'm the one, these are the positions I love. These are my favorite positions. I have the slight lead, I have the initiative. It doesn't look like a clear advantage, but positionally, I'm the one getting my pieces, rerouting them from the left side of the board to the right side of the board. I thought that these pawns were pretty strong, like this, setup or whatever. I don't know what the name of it that is, because he doesn't have an easy way of attacking the e3. What looks like a backwards pawn, but especially when I clamp the knight there, because there's no real way for him to like swing his bishop pair in like that. So, and I feel like my light square bishop is the best minor piece. Again, because I have real ideas. Anyway, I'm not saying this is like winning for white or even good for white zeros, but this is just what I'm saying. I like how I like to attack, which is indirectly and slowly. Yeah, but with threat, with power, with meaning. All right, he plays knight e4, which looks seductive, right? Because it looks like he's getting a good knight. It looks that way. But I immediately take, and yes, I'm giving up this light square bish, which is technically very good in this position, because if I ever have it on like e2, it has decent scope. But my thinking, and I do take immediately, is I've now transformed the position. He takes with a pawn, of course, where now these pawns are strong. e3 is not a weakness, and I have the play. Specifically, queen to c4, with the idea of not just a triple stack, but also a lot of threat on f7. So I was really liking my position. Again, computer only has me like plus 0.4. There's nothing here like overtly, but I really like this transition, especially because his bishop is bad. This bishop not so good. So I thought my knight was now the best piece. And again, if he trades, he gives me very simple f takes and then simple play of swinging my pieces, especially with like this kind of plan. All right. In any event, I take, let's see, d takes e4. Where are we? Bishop takes, d takes e4, that's right. And then I play, and so, nice, I play a good move. So I think this was the first spot in the game, 19 moves in, where I actually did a deep thought, if I recall correctly. And the reason why I was thinking so much is I was calculating if f5 worked here. I did want to reroute my pieces, but I wondered if I could play f5 immediately. And I also was looking at queen c4 was the other. Oh, that is the best line. God damn it. I didn't realize this. And I was looking at rook to f1. Those were my candidate moves. So I tank, and I couldn't decide what was accurate. I thought that if I induce a weakness, him to play like f6 or something, that's great. I can just reroute my knight. He doesn't have an active plan. c5 certainly didn't seem to work. So I thought, all right, let's make a move that improves my position, that kind of is a waiting move, but does something. And I think of the pretty good move, third best, a3. Now you might say, what does that move do? Well, in lines where I reroute my bishop, he gets a strong bishop on b4, bearing down. Not if I have a3. That's basically it. It frees up my rooks to move over, and I don't have to worry about, again, any kind of distraction of the bishop. So I play a3. I'm proud of this move. I think it's a quiet move. I don't think, proud of the inaccuracy. But yeah, I think it passes the buck back to him. I think it's a decent waiting move that improves my position. No fault there. He plays bishop to d5. Yeah, his best move, I was thinking that if he does this, I just start rerouting immediately and just start moving my pieces with the idea of like h4, h5. So I didn't think that was necessarily did anything, although I guess it takes away the f1 square. So maybe that does do something. Maybe. But anyway, he plays bishop d5. He's trying to be... Actually, I thought this was a pretty good move, to be honest. The computer doesn't like it, but when he slams this down, I actually was upset because I realized I lost my chance to go queen c4. Like, he stopped the idea. And again, if you remember the last move that I had, it was the top computer line. It was one of the candidate moves I had. I had this idea, this idea, this idea, or this idea. I'm just kind of curious because I really gave f5 a lot of thought. Like, why is it? I guess, okay, because you can do this. Interesting. And then I trade. And the computer says he's pretty safe here. I mean, this is what I saw. I thought, I don't know. The reason why I thought this was good, for the record, is, as you guys can tell, what am I threatening here? Boom, check. You know what I mean? Like, that seems pretty good to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I saw. So, they won. EG, though. Wait, why does this not work? What am I missing here? I thought I was just winning the... Wait, what? After d5... Queen f2. Alright, well, this is more complicated than what I pictured, but I don't know. I thought that this looked pretty good for me, but apparently it's down the exchange, black is half a pawn better in that line somehow, but whatever. And it didn't happen. I didn't end up playing f5 because I wasn't quite sure. I didn't quite see him coming in, but I just didn't think he had to take. And I thought if I took in that line, like let's say again he makes a move like this, I push. Well, then I would push. Then I would allow to push. Whatever. All right, let's move on. Tired, but I'm enjoying doing this anyway. How are we on time? 30 minutes. Time really rolls when you're having fun. Time flies when you're having fun. Anyway, he plays bishop d5, and the computer gives it an accuracy, but I really did think it was a good move. Is the thing, like at the board, I thought this did something. It stopped any ideas of like the d5, which I was thinking about because that's one way to set up like a mating threat. If I could ever get my queen over here, then it's checkmate. And was stopping my queen idea. So I'm really surprised the computer doesn't like it because I really do like the move. Anyway, whatever. I now think to myself, all right, what's my worst piece? It's this bishop. Now that he slammed the door on me being able to push to expand, let's go back to my original plan, which is swinging it over to this side. So I play bishop e1. I like the idea. The computer is very harsh. They only say it's good, and that's because there's one better move, which is queen. Oh, I see. Queen to b5 is interesting because you're immediately threatening the bishop. You can't play c6 because then you just win the pawn, So you threaten the bishop and you just make him retreat. So to give you an idea, I'd go here and the computer suggests just literally just retreating with the bishop. And now this frees up the idea that I can still go queen to c4, even though it's not that good here apparently. Apparently the computer wants to rip open the position with b4 because then probably takes or something, and that's good. That's my guess. Okay. Interesting, because then I'm getting space, I'm building, and if I get rid of this dark square bishop, then I really do have the threat on c7. So I understand that. Okay, that makes sense. Instead I go with the second best plan, second best move, which is again rerouting my bishop, making it more active. I thought this made sense. His bishops are bad. I mean, both of them are. And ideally my rooks can open up onto c7. So at this point, bishop e1, he now plays f6. He's now deciding that he's had enough of this pretty strong knight in the middle of the board. He's bouncing me. And wow. Queen b5 is the best move here. Fuck me. Bishop h4 was the other move, and that's what I wanted to play. I wanted to play bishop h4 to pin here. I'll tell you what I saw after I show you the move that I made. Yeah, I made the zeros move. God damn it. I wanted to play the better one. Alright, well, I play knight c4, which is fine. It's fine. Idea obviously is I can trade, and then ideally I can come into the position. If he takes, I take. We have the triple stack with check. And I thought that was fine for me. I give it an accuracy. What I wanted to play is I wanted to play bishop h4 with the idea that he can't take. But the problem that I saw is I thought g5. Oh. Because now the pawn is pinned, he can't take. And even though two of my pieces are on pre, it doesn't matter. He is actually under a lot of pressure here. So you'd have to find specifically queen c8 here. And then I'd have to find... what? This move. Somehow this works. I don't know why that works, but apparently the computer would give it a brilliant. Well, this doesn't work. So if he was ever to take that, we would do a check, h8, f takes. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is beyond me. Interesting. Computer's some moves like that. So black is just lost here if you rip it open. I'm just not that tactical player. Like, I think that's incredibly challenging. Anyway, I did look at this, and I didn't think after this move that I had, like, even with this, I thought that I was losing material to rip open the, and I thought it might be worth it still. Like, I thought that in this line I would be sacrificing a piece, but yeah, I thought it'd be a knight sacrifice, but apparently this is good. Oh man, queen c8. Apparently this is just winning for white. It's just over. Wow. Damn, what a cold move. Not even taking, just moving here with check. And the reason why is you take, there you go, queen e5 check, and this is not guarded. So when he plays, you know, I don't know, like that, we can just win the bishop. Actually, they don't even want to win the bishop. They want to go g5 instead. All right. Well, I didn't see all that, of course. Otherwise, I would have played that for sure. But the move I wanted to play over here is bishop h4. But unfortunately, from my human brain, I saw this, this, and takes, and I didn't see. Well, not takes. Sorry. It was been. What did I see to make me stop doing this? I just didn't see the follow up. I didn't see that move. Like I just thought that. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I thought all my pieces were under attack. I thought I was losing one of them for like 2 pawns and the open king. That's it. That was my calculation. Definitely my weakness as a player is I can't calculate tactical lines like even that deep, even that moderate. To be honest, I'm just not that good at it. It's really hard. So that's why I didn't do it. That's what the move I wanted to play, and it looks like it would have been better. So all right, well, whatever. In any event, move 22. I play knight c4. He takes because what else is he gonna do? He plays bishop and he's like, I'd like to try basics. It's fun when you click and clack and take a piece off the board. I agree. So he goes bishop on, where are we? Takes on c4. I consider whether doing the check now is better, or if I should go rook with the idea of swinging the queen behind the rook. And I decide no, it's better to take with the queen. Now I check him, check. And I thought I was a little bit better here. His king is a little bit hairy. I know that right now this isn't the greatest bishop, but it will come to life, like either here or specifically here, with the idea now that I can push d5 and I have this strong diagonal. So I liked my position. I know the material's even, but positionally, I felt like I had slightly more space than him. This I thought was a strong pawn formation, and I have ideas of attacking ideas. Again, I really need to reroute the pieces if we can trade off this f pawn, because right now I don't have an easy way of killing his bishop, so I'm not really attacking anything here on c7. Anyway, that was my thought process. Regardless, he's in check. He does need to move, and he plays king g7. All the moves are basically identical there. And my candidate moves I was considering before, because I thought that maybe I should consolidate space, but I didn't want to give him an open a file. I thought that was his only source of counterplay. Because right now, again, he's on the back foot. He doesn't have any aggressive actions. I thought I was slightly, a bit better. So I didn't think there was any reason to open it up for him. That's why I didn't want to play b4. Instead of 24, play bishop g3, which is not anywhere on the list, which makes me a little bit nervous. They like a lot of queen moves or like h3 probably with. Yeah, I did. No, not even. Just to leave it out there. All right, well, you live and you learn. I play bishop g3 first. And what was my idea here? Oh, I think my idea was finally pushing f5. If he takes, like we take and we come in with check, because again, removing the defender, I finally get to infiltrate and I get this massive 7th. If he doesn't, I can then open up and reroute. So I think that was my idea behind this. Also understanding that this could induce f5, which is not a good, well, it's not a bad move. And then when f5 is played, now I can go back and open up this side. So I'm doing like a seesaw. Like I go here, he tries to lock up what looks like strong pawns because it's light square pawns with dark square bishops. But because I have this diagonal, I think that's bad for him, and I think that's good for me. So yeah, so he plays f5, and I liked seeing that, and I said, okay, I think that's good for me, and I literally dropped my bishop back to e1. And the computer thinks it's good. And my idea is nothing's cracking on the king side. I'm going to reroute it over here. I'm going to push this. I'm going to try to put my queen on d4, I'm going to try to checkmate him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I have going on. I'm going to keep seesawing, basically wiggling to the left, wiggling to the right. His pawns are never moving anywhere. This formation seems strong. I don't know, is that a diamond hands? Whatever it's called. 40 minutes, okay. Alright, and yeah, he plays queen e8, which I wasn't quite sure what this did. Looks like a bad move. He's never coming in here because I'm killing it off. Maybe he was afraid of me infiltrating or something. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. The key in this position, why I like this from my perspective so much, is I have a small initiative. I have a small, like, territorial advantage. I have somewhat of an active plan, and I don't see any proactive moves for black, right? Like, what the hell is he supposed to do? How is he supposed to make any progress in my position? He's also old man chess, where he's, like, thinking very conservatively rather than, like, anything reckless or wild. I'm about to sing some cake songs. All right. In this case, I see the opportunity to play d5. Computer loves it. It's exactly what I'm going for, and my idea is very clear cut. I'm gonna barbarian style. I'm gonna swing my bishop there. I'm gonna swing my queen there, and the fact that my pawn is on f4 is doing so much because he never can move his bishop to defend it. So I'm in love with my position. I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted. Bingo, bango, bongo, perfect. And he makes a shocking move here, okay? My man, Vitaly, plays king h6. And apparently what's funny is the computer gives that a good move. They want him to move off of this diagonal. But I remember seeing this thinking, there's no fucking way this is a good move. Like, you know when you play somebody, and sometimes they make a move and you don't expect it, and you're like, oh, that's a good move. I'm upset I didn't see it. And then sometimes people make moves and you're like, that's a fucking horrible move. And I thought this was a horrible move. The computer's suggesting things like, again, there's like, this is what I mean, black is so passive, it has no proactive ideas. Actually, maybe that's the only proactive idea. Yeah, maybe going here to attack the pawn that's pinned to the king. And the computer says I can just go queen e2. Again, with the idea of maybe rerouting to the side and stuff. What's the follow-up here? I'm actually curious. e7. What is white supposed to do? Yeah, I would check him for sure. What is f7? Oh, I see. Just slowly getting into position. That's quite clever, actually. And our idea is going to be moving our knight in and probably then playing b4, which I understand. So for something like a4, or even just rook sacrifice. No, I like this. I like this better because then we have that lined up with this, you know, threat, which is what I would play. But they like the queen. They like the rook sacrifice, just, you know, wild style. Which makes sense. Oh, I see. And then playing queen c4 because we're ganging up on the pawn and we're still threatening the same stuff. All right. Well, I didn't see all that, of course, but he also didn't play. I mean, that was in the position where he played the only proactive line. Anyway, he plays king out to h6, which seemed like a wild move. Again, I can't say I understood it, but the computer says it's a good move, so like it's not bad. I now see visions of winning. They like my move of h3 with the idea of g4, because if it takes, and then we have this checkmate where I push. If I have my bishop here, taking away all these squares, he has no retreat, and then I have a very funny dropping the queen back to e2, and then it'll be checkmate on h5. So that's what I saw, and I thought all of his pieces had no way of getting in the defense. I have no idea what he was doing. I thought in this position, now it's only like +1-ish, it's not winning. I thought that this was winning. I thought that he had made a horrible misstep of putting his king on h6, that I had an easy plan of this mating net, and I didn't see any way for him to, like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see anything he could do. I was like, I was like, that's how bad I thought the king to h6 was. So I had to make the decision of what is the best move, like what is the best order to do stuff. And I decided on h3 first, which is fine. It's a fine move. And of course the computer gives him accuracy. Again, the idea is here, he takes, I take, if he doesn't take, I check with the pawn. if this is here, it's the same deal. He moves back, and then I drop back, and that's going to be checkmate. However, I play h3, move 27. No, I don't play that. I play that and move 28. Okay. Okay, so I don't make the blunder. Nice. Nice. What the hell do I play then? Bishop c3 check. Wait, what? Oh, alright, we messed up somewhere. Because I go bishop c3 check, which is why he puts the king on h6. So after d... Okay. So let's delete that. Great. Gotta love all the annotation for, like, not the right move. Alright, I play d5. Oh, and he does go queen e7, which is the best move. He does go queen e7. So he's basically juggling his pieces back and forth. He doesn't have a lot of moves, and he's just moving it over here. Okay. Okay, oh great. I do make the best move. Okay, phew. Now we're talking. You know, these things happen. Now I play bishop c3. The idea, of course, is I have potential threat here. I have potential threat here. I think that's probably why he moved it to h6. Oh, holy shit, it's the best move. Okay. I thought that I was just, okay, now we've reached the position, and that makes a little more sense. He was forced to move over, and apparently it was the best move. And I thought that with this bishop on c3, his king has no escape, that now if I make these moves, I have the checkmate with the backseat move. And I didn't see anything that he could do to actively stop this, because this pawn is so strong, the f4, taking away this idea. And if he sacrifices the queen, well then I'll gladly take it with the bishop. Right. And it's crazy. This looks winning for white, but it's only +1. So, okay. Let's go. King h6. Yeah, all right. So on my move now is when I play h3. But they like g3 better here? Or rerouting f1? Queen f1? What? Oh, queen f1 with the idea of g3 so that I can move to h3. That also makes a lot of sense, and I like that a lot. So I make the less accurate move. It's too slow. I needed to reroute, get my queen in. The way to do that was that plan, and I understand that. So I didn't untangle that correctly. All right, I play h3. I've lost my advantage, even with his king on h6 and the queens on the board. It's only +0.3. That's insane. Chess can be crazy. He plays queen h4. Which is not a good move. Looks like he's back in trouble. The only move for him to retain everything is to bring his other rook into the game and just put it on a square that does something, I guess. So he doesn't do that. I didn't understand this move. I think he wanted to stop g4, because obviously now maybe like takes and check, and he's got a perpetual or something. So I can't quite push g4 here. Yeah, that must have been why. But I didn't think it was good, because I had the backwards move to kind of bump his queen out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. So I do that. Move 29. Nope, I don't do that yet. I have that move, but I save it. I go queen d4 first. Yeah, that's right. It's excellent. Nice. Oof, good job, Rob. In fact, it's the best move. Good. My idea here, of course, is I'm threatening checkmate. Well, not immediately. I guess he could move there if he doesn't stop it with like a rook or something. And then something like that. I don't know. Well, anyway, I wanted to wiggle on it. I thought the wiggle was my idea. All right. Maybe this was more complicated than I gave it credit for. Definitely more complicated. All right. Play queen d4. It's best move. And he does stop it with rook f7, which is... Oh, the only move that really stops is queen e7. Rook f7, which seems like it stops here, is actually losing because of g4 immediately. Which, for the record, your hero plays g4. I found the follow-up, because I thought the same thing too. So wait, how does it not lead to checkmate? I am very confused, because I played that. I played g4. Oh, I played bishop. Oh, I see. No, not immediately. I needed to play... so I missed my moment. I needed to play g4 immediately. And the reason why is when I play that and he has this check, I can swing the rook over to block. This is guarded, so he doesn't have that. So he's actually in deep trouble. He'd have to like move his queen to the f3 square. And that's when I'm able to play the check. his king gets stuck over here on h5, and it's only a matter of time, I guess. Okay, that's +4, +4.5. Makes a lot of sense. I didn't play it right away. Instead, I thought I needed to move his queen back, so I check his queen with bishop e1, thinking that I still have my own queen here, which is preventing his king from moving. Yeah, at least that was my thought. Now he goes queen e7, he goes back, which I thought was inaccurate. I thought he should probably have played queen f6. Yeah, okay, queen f6, and just look to trade. And it's funny, white's barely better there. You know, these things happen. So I missed my move with g4, but now I play g4, because I thought that now I set it up without his queen being in here. I thought I can play g4, with the idea, of course, of if I can hit g5. However, Vitaly has been defending all game for 30 moves. I don't think he's been better for one of them. And he's continuing to defend really well. He plays the best move, the only move in the position, because otherwise my plan is crushing, and he plays g5. And I think to myself, oh shit, am I not checkmating him? You know, like, how is this happening? What did I do wrong? How is this game not already over? You know what I mean? Like, all these thoughts are going through my head. All these thoughts are going through my head. So I realized that if he takes and I take, he can come in. He's actually the one maybe pushing for the win. So I thought my best move, okay, bishop g3 would have been reasonable, but I thought my best move was pinning his bishop to his king, so that if he takes, I can take, and then I'm still threatening g5. So that's what I did. I pinned his piece. Now, I don't think this is a bad move. Computer says it's inaccuracy, of course. But that was my idea. That was my reasoning. That was my rationale. Yeah, g5 is a good move. They also, now the computer's suggesting like b4. Computer's suggesting bishop to... Everything is zeros. Yeah. And they even suggest take. Why did I not want to take? I thought this was dangerous for me all of a sudden. h4? What? Oh, because if he takes here, now I swing my rook over. Interesting. And now I pin his bishop. Interesting. Yeah, chess is an interesting game, you know. Interesting game. Alright, well, this didn't happen, and this would have been kind of wild and dangerous. Instead, I pin his bishop, which is slightly inaccurate, looking at the way the cookie is crumbling. And he just plays g takes. You know, simple. It's suddenly the position's better for him. Apparently f takes is better, him going this way to maybe open up the bishop, but he goes this way. So move 33, yeah. G takes f4. I thought my best response was to answer with e takes f4, which it is. So I go e takes f4. And again, this is pinned. He can't quite win this. And my thinking here was kind of simple. It was that, yeah, my thinking here, well, not my thinking, is like all of a sudden he has now a passed pawn and maybe black's better. Around this time, so we played 33 moves. We were getting closer to move 40, and I was taking more time than him. I was down on time, okay? I was still probably had like 40 minutes, actually. Actually, remind me when we get to move 40, because that's when I'm going to tell the clock story. So, yeah. So he takes, we go e takes f4, and now he goes rook g8. Now, apparently he should just play f takes. I didn't think that was so bad for me, and the reason why is I was probably going to take. The computer's actually suggesting a sacrifice, which apparently is pretty decent. But I thought that in those situations where if he crashes through, I would have this bishop d2 move, and all of a sudden I thought I'd be winning again. So I thought that's why he probably thought something like that too, why he doesn't go takes. Instead, he gets his piece in the game, rook g8, which I do think is a very logical move, by the way. And the thing about rook g8, it's a mistake, is all of a sudden I realized that he's now bearing down and I'm in a lot of trouble. However, I can lock up the position by going g5. So I played g5 check, and I thought, again, I must be winning here. and it's not winning. It's just plus +0.5. Like the whole time this game in this situation, I thought I was like kicking this guy's ass, and I'm like better, but I missed my one win. I had one turn where I had like a win. All right, it is what it is. He plays king g6. It's kind of the only move, which is kind of nice for me that it's blocking in his rook. He doesn't really have the threat. This is still pinned, and I still thought I was better because like look at this. Like how can I not be better? He's totally stuck, and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. That's just kind of my idea. All right, king g6. I then need to find a good plan. The plan the computer suggests is insane. It's sacrificing the rook. Wow, that's hard to see. Sacrifice the rook, they take with the bishop, and then you check him. He blocks with the bishop, and then you take this pawn with the idea that we're going to win the piece back with, like, crash through a little bit. I didn't consider that, to be honest. I did consider sacrificing the rook this way, the idea of swinging the other one right here, because obviously he can never take with the queen, or else he loses the queen and the game's over. But he would take with the pawn, and then I'd start winning these pawns that way. So that was what I did see. And I still have this bishop move. So I actually did consider that, but that doesn't look like a good move according to the computer. So I guess it's a good thing I didn't play it. I played queen f2. And my idea, it's a bad one apparently, but again, rerouting to try to checkmate this way. This game I was swinging from right to left a lot. Computer wants me to play h6, which makes a lot of sense. He did not do that. He missed the best move here. And I didn't see that, by the way. Instead, he starts running with his king, which I think is most people would do this because it's fucking scary. So that's kind of what I expected most people to do. I play, so they like queen d4 check. Interesting. They're both equal. I do check him. Move 36. Rook c3. What? We're on move 36. Bishop c3. Thank you. I played the second best move, bishop c3, and the problem is I've let him slip up from king h6 to king f8, and this is a problem because he no longer is quite in the mating box, because if I get around over here, he can just keep running, and his king is pretty safe. It's funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've been even material for the higher game, and I've kind of massaged a +1-ish position mostly. There was a moment where I kind of gave it back, but I didn't quite have the breakthrough. Brutal. All right, he plays king f8, and I look at this position and I say, shit, like I let him off the hook. Apparently, I can go bishop d4. Don't really understand that move. Oh, they're still looking for... Oh, okay. They're still looking for... Wait a second. Why can't he just take the... Alright, whatever. And I look to this, and I think that if he's pushing the pawn, this is pinned. And if he, like, takes or something, like, well, we've got problems here. So I thought I needed to just get my king out of the way. So I move my king on 36, move 37 to f1. Just sidestepping any of the nonsense. I don't think this is a bad move. It's a mistake. But I just wanted to be free and clear. I'm actually just curious why bishop d4 is good. Bishop d4. Okay, let's say he starts crashing with h6. I think rook takes b6. Which is a brilliant move, apparently. Why? Oh. Because then you come through, and my man would lose his queen. Oh, baby. Well, hopefully you guys see that. I didn't see this in game, of course. Yeah. This makes sense. If he takes... Wait, they want me to play... What? I would just take here. But alright, this makes a lot of sense to me. You're also covering everything. Alright, interesting. Alright, well, I missed that idea, of course. Would have been strong. So I got a little bit worried that maybe I was the one who was slightly behind. Um, and it was around this time that I got lower on time. I had like 30 minutes, maybe 25, and I kept thinking, okay, we're on move 40. No, it's actually hit move 40, because at that point I was below 30 minutes, and I was, yeah, okay. So I played king f1, just kind of sidestepping any trouble, thinking that, I might be in trouble. And my man, the only winning move for him, and the only move that actually black maintains an advantage or continues an advantage, is h6. He missed this idea. Instead he plays e3, which is the second best move in the position, but it's not very good. The reason why is obviously, bluntly, he's attacking my queen. It's pretty obvious I need to put it to f3, and I thought I'd corral this, so I wasn't quite sure what he was doing with this move. Yeah, so I play queen f3, which is the best move. Again, the idea is I get around. If he pushes, I just move up, and I can then, take the file and win the pawn this way. So I thought it was better again. He plays queen e4. He's looking to trade queens, but I didn't think I would want to do that, because if I trade and he takes, he's coming down onto this pawn, and I'm in a lot of trouble. But he doesn't threaten anything. He can't move any of these places. I guess he can move there? Not if I move up, which is what I'm going to do. Right, then I take away that square. That's dead, dead, dead. Nothing going on there. Yeah, he's offering to trade, but he's not forcing it. So I look at this and I say, well, isn't it better if I move my king up and then he takes and then I take? Because then my king is closer to the action. I'm defending the f4 square. Because otherwise, if I trade and he takes, he's gonna win the f4 immediately. I can't do that. So I play what seems to be the obvious move. I play king e2. It's excellent. Thank you, computer. And yeah, when that occurs with king e2, he now plays queen takes. Apparently, queen takes f4 is better. He should be taking here, which makes sense. But instead, he takes here, not taking the pawn. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm going to win this e3 pawn always. I take back, and this is the spot where I was down below 30 minutes, and we reached move 40, and I was like, why is my extra time not kicking in? Why is and I learned from this game that you have to go down to 0 before the extra time gets added, which is really confusing when you're looking at your clock and not knowing how much time you have. So that's something that I really don't like, and actually influenced what was about to happen later in the game. So I'm like, at this point, down below 30, like 25 minutes, and it's the first time I've been in time pressure the entire tournament. It does not happen to me very often. Anyway, I take with a king. He plays rook e7, which makes sense. He's trying to hold on to this pawn. It's not going to happen, of course. But I play... Bishop f6 is stronger. Kind of immediately attacking and whatnot. That makes sense. I don't do that. I play bishop d4, which I thought was good, but it's not, apparently. Okay, why? Just a mistake. I thought... I guess because he can immediately... Yeah, but then I would take the pawn. I don't know. I'm not understanding this. I'm not an understander. He now pushes e2. The only move is rook e1. I guess actually you could probably play bishop e5. I guess that makes sense too. Anyway, I'm going to corral this pawn. I can't take it yet because then it leaves my king... Basically, if I take and then he takes and then I take, he can then take on f4. And then I thought I'd be worse. So I thought I'd have all the time to bring my rook back, take, and then if he trades, I take back, and I'm just up a pawn in a clear endgame. Let's try to win this. Yeah, he plays rook e4, which seems scary. He's attacking my f4 pawn. He's attacking my bishop. But, I've got a couple moves here. They're all fine. They're pretty obvious. I play bishop e3 very quickly, thinking that, how is it fucking inaccuracy? e5 is better. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I feel like I'm cutting off his rook to my to the defense, so I don't even need to bring this other rook back yet. So it looked pretty good to me, like life is good. He plays king f7. Yeah, rook 43, king f7. His idea is he's going to be doubling up. I look at this, I say, oh, sweet, I'm going to be up a pawn on an endgame. Let's take. So I take, I'm like, all right. Now, it's funny. The computer says after rook takes e2 that it's only like plus 0.2. It's like nothing. I thought that this was really comfortable and really good. Like, how could it not be? But it's not. It's whatever. He goes rook g to e8. The idea, of course, is he's bearing down on this bishop. I didn't like that. I thought I needed to now get my other rook in the game, kind of defend this any way I can, any means necessary. So I play rook c6 to c2, which is a good move. The idea now is it frees up my bishop, and then we can trade all the rooks off on the file, and life is good. Life is beautiful. He plays king g6, so he's trying to get an active king for like an endgame to come in or so, which I like. I think it's a good plan. I now play bishop c1. It's the best move. It's the only move that I retain an advantage, and the idea here is I'm now fighting for the open file. We can trade everything, and then I'm still defending f4, and these rooks need to support each other, otherwise I would lose a rook if I moved it like in between, like to d2 or something. So he grumbles, he speaks in Russian for a while, and at this point, by the way, I'm below 30 minutes, again, 20, I'm seeing seconds again, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why is the time not picking up? Why is the time not picking up? Okay, and I'm like, I was feeling time pressure for the first time in a long time. First time in a long time. He plays, what does he play after 46? Yeah, he grumbles for a while, and then he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to trade, and he trades rooks. And I say, great. I'll trade rooks with you, pal. And the idea, and of course he has to trade or else he's just worse, is I thought, great, we're getting a pure endgame where I'm a pawn up. Let's try to win this. Right now, this is defended, and if he tries to step in, I'm going to defend with my queen. So I'm like, let's fucking roll. Around this time, close to it, and my time is getting low, he says to me, first time he speaks like not Russian, he's like, I don't see how I can win. You want to draw? And I looked at this, I said, no, I'm going to win this. Like, I'm going to try to win this. Like, no thanks. And he's like, okay, if you say so. As though, like, he had been better the whole game, that he had been trying to beat me, which is insane. I don't, like, again, there were, like, 2 moments where it was, like, not positive. But I was like, okay, buddy. And he offered me the draw. But I was looking at the clock, and the clock was getting lower. And the time from the 40th move hadn't kicked in. I didn't realize, again, you have to flag before you get it. So I was moving faster than probably I wanted to at this point in the game. Okay, that's the context going on here. He plays king h5, so he's trying to wiggle his way in. If he can win this pawn, I'm certainly not better, so I have to stop him, right? So I play king f3. The idea here is if he steps forward, I can step back, right? Like, it seems kind of self-explanatory. He does. He plays, the best move, king h4. And so I go king g2. It's the only way to maintain hold of all my pieces, all my pawns. And the only way I thought I could make progress is if I somehow trade these bishops, or if I'm able to get my king over, like that, after they trade. Because he's never going to trade himself, because obviously then I have the connected passed pawns. I'm easily winning. He would just chill. And then if I take, he takes. And I can't make progress 2-on-2. So that was kind of like, that was my problem in the endgame. King g2. He plays bishop f8. So he's now just jiggling his pieces. He's doing the jiggle dance. But that was a massive, massive blunder. Because a4. It's funny, I play a4 and move too late. I realized that in this endgame, the only thing I need to worry about are these dark squares. If I put them on light squares over here, then I have free reign to basically move my bishop and just start being active and start harassing. Oh, man. So I needed to put them on light squares here, which is an idea I realized after this move, for the record. I miss this window again. Just totally miss it. And I play bishop d2, thinking at first I'm going to start wiggling in, and then realizing, oh shit, I need to lock his pawns on the dark squares so that I have a target, and I want mine on light squares. That was basically what I was thinking. After I played this. It always happens after I play a move. He goes bishop d6, so he really retreats to the square. He's still not getting the idea. And now, believe it or not, George isn't at home. Oh, I played bishop e1 first. I thought this was more accurate to bump him back before I push them on the squares. He goes back. I play king. He plays king h5. I play king f3, which is the best move. My idea here is now my king is defending f4, so now my bishop is free to roam, to reign. Good, they gave me a great move for that. Good. He plays king g6, so he's retreating. I think I'm winning. Like, game should be over, right? I play bishop c3. My idea, again, is to infiltrate. Come on in. a4 is still the best move here. Yeah, because if I can land my king on g3, it's defending all the pawns, both from his king coming in, but also his bishop. And that's what frees up my bishop to roam. Did see that idea. And from this position, when I missed a4 here, bishop c3, he plays king h5, he moves back in. And now I play a4. And it's not that good anymore. Because now he can go h4, which is what he does. And I realized too late the a4 idea, and now that he gets in here, I can't move back to defend this pawn. I don't have the backwards check anymore because he can just take it. And I realize now that this pawn is going to lose, now it is a draw. And I realized this, so I said to him, I looked at him, I touch my king and his touch move, and I'm like, oh shit, I fucked this up. And I realized it because I play a4, a turn too late. Like, I knew the idea, but it doesn't work now because I need to move my king first to protect my pawn, but I let him get his king and I let him wiggle in. So I felt like an idiot, as you can imagine. I make one more move because, whatever. I played my king over. It's zeros. There's no way anyone can make any progress. And he takes the pawn, and now I say, after I play bishop e5, which is offering the draw basically, and I said, would you like the draw now? He's like, yes, this was an even game. You don't need to try to win. And of course I did have a win, I just blew it in the end game, but it's zeros at the end. So we shook hands. I said, I mentioned this in another video, I said, Vitaly, would you like to go over the game with me? He's like, no, there's no need to go over this one, it's late and I'm tired, there was a game, good luck in the next round. And that's what happened. I was happy for one reason. I finally had a point. This was my third game. I had 1 point out of a possible 6. Obviously, not the way I would like it, but it was an interesting one. It became an endgame. I was pushing him for the most part all game, and I didn't quite convert. I did see the a4 idea, but I saw it too late, and I needed to get my king first to g3, so I protected everything, and I failed to do that. Oh, for the record, just to let you all know, my timer was down to below 10 minutes, and I was blitzing these, and that's why I said, do you want to draw? Because he still had 20 minutes on me, and then I was told after the fact, by Ryan, he's like, oh yeah, a lot of clocks, they don't kick in until after your time is used, so you had 40 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, if I had 40 minutes and I knew it, I would have waited. I don't think I would have necessarily made that same blunder. I was rushing, I was blitzing this endgame. Anyway, I've been learning a lesson in every single game. My OTB spreadsheet, I wrote down, literally this lesson was, when there's because in Boylston you don't get bonus time after move 40, so that's kind of new, and for me, obviously I know that from tournaments, from FIDE tournaments, but I haven't experienced that. So now I know that clocks don't actually show it automatically. It takes you to flag, and then it will show it off. All right, let's do a very quick review. I thought my level of play was decent. I was making threats, positionally I was moving around. I kind of spotted some decent ideas. 78.2 is not very accurate though. So definitely not the best. I will say I had opportunities, a bunch of them. And this was Saturday night where I was running on 4 hours of sleep, and my play has definitely suffered. You would think with more time I would play better, but that is not the case. Not really much to say. 78.2, 78.1. I had opportunities. I whiffed them. I whiffed him like a softball bat. Yeah. The computer really does not like endgame accuracy. Oh, damn. Well, it was a game. It is what it is. Alright, that was 57 moves for a draw. So entering round 4, I'm on only 1 point. Will your hero turn this tournament around? Possibly. Alright, it's probably, by the way, as far as the accuracy of these last moves, would like keep missing the idea. And again, I was blitzing these. I really wish I had more time. And I did have more time. I wish I knew I had more time. Alright, my friends. Hope you're enjoying the Hartford Open recap. This was game 3, Saturday night. Believe it or not, Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, I'd finally have a little bit more sleep. I'd be a little bit more rested. And let's hope to play a little bit better. Alright. Peace.